Diane is standing at her kitchen counter, reaching for a coffee mug on the top shelf. She shifts her weight onto her right foot, and for a second, she doesn't feel the floor. Not pain, not pressure, nothing, just numb. She grabs the counter before her knee buckles, steadies herself, laughs it off. Must have slept on it wrong, she tells herself. She's 68. And she's about to learn that what just happened in her kitchen has almost nothing to do with sleep and everything to do with a warning her feet have been sending her for months. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that numbness means, why your feet swell and ache more than they used to, which shoes in your closet are quietly raising your risk of a fall, and the exact 2-minute routine I give almost every patient over 60 to get their balance back. I'm Dr. Thomas Hayes. I've spent many years as a podiatrist, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: your feet talk to you long before a fall ever happens. Most people just aren't taught how to listen. Today, I'm covering what that tingling really means, nerve issue or circulation issue, because those are two very different problems. Why your feet swell and ache more the older you get, and the shoes secretly working against your balance sitting in your closet right now. Stick around for number 6, the routine I give almost every patient in my practice, because once you understand why it works, you'll actually stick with it. Here's the idea I want you to hold on to for the rest of this video. Your feet are not just what you stand on, they're sensors. Right now, thousands of nerve endings on the bottom of your feet are reading the ground, how hard it is, how uneven it is, which way you're leaning, and sending that information up to your brain dozens of times a second. Think of it like the sensors on a home security system. When every sensor is working, the system knows the instant something changes and it reacts fast. But when even one sensor goes quiet, from nerve damage, from swelling, from weak muscles, from the wrong shoe, your brain gets an incomplete picture of the ground under you. And when your brain doesn't know exactly where the ground is, it can't correct your balance in time. That's not clumsiness. That's not just getting older. That's a sensor problem. Everything I'm about to walk you through today is really a story about one or more of those sensors going quiet and what you can do about it. So let's start with the question I probably get asked more than any other. Is that tingling in my feet a circulation problem or a nerve problem? Diane wondered the same thing, standing at her counter. Here's how to tell the difference. Circulation problems usually feel like coldness or a heavy, achy tiredness, especially after standing. Nerve problems, what we call peripheral neuropathy, usually feel different. Tingling, pins and needles, numbness, sometimes a burning feeling, often worse at night. Think of your nerves like electrical wiring running from your feet up to your brain. When that wiring gets damaged, often from diabetes, sometimes from a vitamin deficiency, sometimes from other causes, the signal weakens or drops out, the same way a frayed wire makes a lamp flicker instead of staying lit. Here's what people usually mistake this for. They assume numb feet just mean poor circulation, so they rub their feet, prop them up, and move on. But if it's actually nerve damage, that numbness means your feet can't reliably tell your brain where the ground is, exactly the sensor problem we just talked about. If you notice tingling, numbness, or burning that doesn't go away, ask your doctor specifically for a monofilament test. It's a simple, painless nerve sensation test that takes about 2 minutes in the office. Now, you've probably noticed your feet ache more by the end of the day than they used to, or your shoes feel tighter by evening, even though you didn't gain weight. Here's why. The veins in your legs have tiny one-way valves whose job is to push blood back up toward your heart, working against gravity. Think of them like check valves in an old plumbing system. When you're younger, those valves snap shut cleanly every time. As you get older, they can weaken and not close all the way, so a little blood pools back down toward your feet and ankles instead of heading up. That pooling is what causes the swelling, the achiness, and sometimes the skin discoloration you might notice by dinner time. Swelling doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it stretches the skin and tissue around those same nerve endings we just talked about, making it even harder for your feet to accurately sense the ground. Elevate your feet above heart level for 15 minutes in the evening. If the swelling is only in one foot or comes on suddenly, call your doctor the same day. That can signal something that needs urgent attention, not just tired veins. Quick question while we're on this one. Does your swelling get worse standing or worse sitting? Type standing or sitting in the comments. I read every one. And here's where it gets more serious than most people realize. Inside your foot, there are over a dozen small intrinsic muscles most people have never heard of, muscles that hold your arch up and keep your foot rigid enough to push off the ground with each step. Like the cables on a suspension bridge, those small muscles are constantly under tension, holding the whole structure up. After decades of use, and with less daily walking than you did in your 30s and 40s, those small muscles can quietly weaken and lengthen. Your arch flattens a little. Your foot becomes less rigid, more like a bridge with a couple of loose cables. It still holds weight, but it flexes and sways more than it should. This is Diane's other issue, by the way. Years of gardening in soft, unsupportive slip-ons, without realizing those small muscles needed direct strengthening work, not just walking. Ask your doctor or a physical therapist about a short foot exercise. It directly targets those small arch muscles, and most people can learn it in under 5 minutes. If this is making you look at your own feet differently, go ahead and hit like right now. It helps this video reach more people who need to hear it. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. Now, this next one surprises almost everyone in my office. The shoe you reach for because it feels the most comfortable is often working against you the most. Slippers, flip-flops, and worn-out cushioned sneakers all share the same hidden problem. They've lost their structure. Think of a shoe like the tread on a tire. When the tread is fresh, it grips the road and gives you precise, predictable control. When it's worn smooth, the car still moves, but it slides and slips in ways you can't predict. A collapsed heel slipper or a soft, unstructured shoe does the same thing to your foot. It lets your ankle roll and wobble with every step, right when your sensors are already sending a weaker signal. If you can twist a shoe in half with your bare hands, or the back heel folds down flat when you press on it, it's time to retire that pair, no matter how broken in and comfortable it feels. So if worn-out shoes are like bald tires, what does a good tire, a good shoe, actually look like? Going back to what we covered in item 3, the right shoe needs to do some of that arch support work for you. Look for 3 things. A firm heel counter, that's the cup around your heel. It shouldn't collapse when you squeeze it. A sole with some texture and grip, not slick and flat. And a wide enough toe box that your toes aren't pressed together, because your toes actually help you balance by splaying out slightly with each step. Next time you shop for shoes, do the heel counter squeeze test and the twist test right in the store before you even try them on. It takes 10 seconds and tells you more than the price tag does. So here's the question that actually matters. If your sensors are sending a weaker signal, can you ever get that signal back? In many cases, yes, and this is the routine I promised you. It's called single-leg stance training, and it works like retuning an old radio that's gone staticky. You're not replacing the radio, you're helping the signal come through clearly again. Stand near a counter for safety. Lift one foot slightly off the ground. Hold for 15 seconds, switch feet. That's it. Do this once or twice a day. What's happening isn't really about your leg muscles. It's retraining the connection between the sensors in your foot and the balance centers in your brain, the same connection that gets weaker with the tingling, the swelling, and the muscle loss we've covered today. Start with the counter for support. Once you can hold 15 seconds on each side comfortably, try it without holding on, always with something sturdy nearby, just in case. Remember Diane standing at her counter, catching herself before her knee buckled?
After about 6 weeks, daily single-leg stands, a pair of shoes that actually passed the heel counter test, and a conversation with her doctor about that tingling, she told me something I hear a lot. I didn't realize how much I'd stopped trusting my own feet until I started trusting them again. She's back to reaching for that top shelf without a second thought. And I want you to hear this clearly. None of what we covered today is just getting old. Tingling, swelling, weak arches, the wrong shoes, these are specific, identifiable issues, and in most cases, they are manageable, treatable, or reversible with the right steps. Losing trust in your own balance is not a life sentence. Now, I know a 2-minute exercise sounds too simple to matter for something as serious as fall risk. I understand that reaction, but the research on proprioceptive training keeps showing the same thing. Small, consistent input to those foot sensors makes a measurable difference over time. Let's run back through it quickly. 1. Tingling and numbness can mean nerve damage, not just poor circulation. Ask about a monofilament test. 2. Swelling after 60 often comes from weakened vein valves, not just tired feet. Elevate your feet and flag sudden one-sided swelling right away. 3. The small muscles that hold your arch up can weaken over the years. A short foot exercise targets them directly. 4. Worn-out, unstructured shoes let your ankle roll unpredictably. 5. Look for a firm heel counter, some grip, and a wide toe box in your next pair. And 6. Single-leg stance training helps retrain the connection between your feet and your brain. Here's your one action for today. Tonight, try the heel counter squeeze test on the shoes you wore most this week. If it collapses flat, that's your sign to start shopping for a replacement. If this helped you look at your feet a little differently, subscribe for more videos like this one, and share it with someone whose balance you worry about. This video is for educational purposes only and isn't a substitute for medical advice. Please talk to your own doctor before starting any new exercise routine, and never stop or change any medication without your doctor's guidance.